So if you're over 30 and you always feel sore, stiff, or fatigued, the problem isn't your workouts, it's your recovery. And in this video, I'm gonna explain exactly how to fix it. So the first thing you wanna do is to create a bedtime routine. Now, before you click off, understand that most people actually don't have a bedtime routine. You can even think about yourself right now. You probably don't have something you do every night right before bed. So the reason why this is important is because we have a rhythm and our body needs a rhythm to know when it's time to wind down and when it's time to actually be alert. And if we don't give it that establishment of a bedtime routine, it'll never actually get into that rhythm. And we tend to allow our sleep time to be negotiable if we don't have a consistent routine. So the best thing that you can do here is to calculate when you want to wake up. So set a time on when you want to wake up, if that's 6 a.m. And then go 7 to 8 hours back from that time frame. And that's going to be the time you should be asleep. So let's just say if you want to wake up at 6, then you should be asleep by 11 or 10. So if we're going to be in bed or sleep by 10, then we need to wind down now an hour before that. And you can choose an hour or 30 minutes. It just depends on where you're starting. So with that, you want to have that wind down routine an hour before your bedtime. And that could be anything like light stretching, reading. It can be just listening to some relaxing music. It can be listening to some type of audio recording. It can be anything, a conversation. It could be anything that allows you to actually wind down and get in a rested state. And you also want to dim those lights. This alone will dramatically improve your ability to fall asleep and to get really good quality sleep. So the second thing is to keep your sleep environment cool. So I've worked with a ton of people that have issues falling asleep, and the real issue is the temperature in the house. So the reason why this is a problem is because our body naturally reduces its internal temperature in order to allow melatonin to increase, so that way we start to feel sleepy, tired, and then we go into sleep. If that internal temperature does not drop, the release is less than it needs to be in order for us to fall asleep and to stay into deep sleep. So the proper temperature is usually somewhere between 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the house. So what you want to do there is, if you're way out of that range, maybe higher or lower, then you want to start to work up to that, because too low can have the opposite effect, because then you start to shiver and then you start to produce more body heat. The other way, if it's too hot, you never get your internal temperature down enough in order to get in that sleepy state or restful state. Over the course of some time, maybe a few days or a week or so, start to lower that temperature in the house. So if you normally go to sleep at 72 degrees, maybe 2 degrees each day until you get to 68. See if that works for you. Maybe 67, 66, or 65. Find what works for you, and you'll know by how easy it is to fall asleep and how refreshed or how you sleep throughout the night if you don't wake up as many times as you did before, or if you don't wake up at all in the middle of the night. So when you get this really good deep sleep, that's going to allow you to recover and feel way better when you wake up in the morning. The third thing is to manage your daily stress. So stress isn't the problem itself, but chronic stress is. Now, when you're over 30, you have a lot more responsibilities. So stress can be elevated because of all the moving parts that are in your life at the moment. Now, when we have that heightened stress going on and we have that at a consistent level, we don't allow our body the opportunity to downshift and build back up. So we're in a constant state of breakdown, and that definitely reduces our ability to recover from training and from just life stress in general. The key thing here is to break up that stress throughout the day. And one simple area to do that is midday. So if you have a lunch break, that can be going out on a 5 to 10 minute walk out in nature. That can be unplugged without any music, any distractions, or any noises. Or it can be on a walk listening to something that's relaxing, that kind of brings you joy, and just kind of downshifts your body. The other thing you can do is breath work. So as long as you don't have any conditions that are contraindicated when it comes to doing breath work. But the one that allows you to reduce your stress level is An intentional inhale through your nose, maybe for 4 seconds, and then an intentional exhale out the mouth for 4 seconds or longer, up to about 8 seconds. So that allows you to stimulate that vagus nerve, which is the nerve that's going to allow your body to actually go into a state of relaxation. So the more you do this and the more control you have over that and focusing on those numbers, you don't focus on all the outside things that are going on. You don't focus on any stressors that you may have had or something that may have been on your mind, because all you're thinking about is the number and counting as you're going through your breathing. And also your body naturally goes into the state that it needs to. Sometimes when you do the breath holding part of breath work, that can actually stimulate some stress and some anxiety. So if you do have issues with that, then of course doing it the way that I just mentioned is a better way to kind of approach that. So just doing either one of those, so going out for a walk or doing some breath work, or maybe a combination of the both, can just break up that stress throughout the day, gives your body some time to downshift and get into a recovery state in order to reduce the overall stress load on your body. So the fourth thing is to move daily, and that's even on rest days. So if you work out 3 days a week, then on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, those are the days that you want to do some movement. Now, when we're talking about movement, we're talking about that could be light mobility flows, that could be going out for an extended walk, 20 to 60 minutes. That can be going out on a bike ride, and all of these things you want to do it at an easy conversational effort. The reason why this works is because it allows us to actually keep our joints healthy, because when we're not moving, our joints don't get nourished. And also when we're moving, we allow more blood flow, or more increases in blood flow. Our blood flow increases. Our blood flow increases in our body, which transports more nutrients into the areas that need to be rebuilt. And then it also flushes out those things that are preventing us from building back up, and also that accumulated from the stress that we put on our body with training, and then also in life in general. So as long as we continuously move, we're allowing our body to do the things that it needs to do in order to recover at a more efficient level. But again, it's movement that's slow, that's controlled, that allows us to breathe easy, and that just elevates our heart rate a little bit more than if we were just sitting down on the couch. As you do this throughout the week, you'll realize that you recover a lot faster in between workouts, and you just feel less stiff and less sore. So the fifth and final thing is to eat consistently. Now, when you're over 30, you have way more responsibilities going on in your life. And that can be from family obligations, that can be from your career. But a lot of times we allow those obligations to overshadow the fact that we actually need to eat something to fuel our body. And we'll think that, okay, we just need to push through work a little bit longer and then we'll get to our meal. Or we just need to focus on this person and then we'll get to our meal. But that's not going to allow us to do our job appropriately or properly take care of those family members that we need to take care of. So making sure to eat consistently is going to give us consistent energy. I like the 3 meals per day framework just to start off with, so that way you get into a rhythm, right? You have a rhythm to your eating habits, and then also it allows you to have consistent energy throughout that time. So you won't go for a snack in between midday or whatnot, or something unhealthy, or you won't feel drained going into your workout, or just skip your workout because you just feel tired and fatigued. Or if you have something to do at work that requires a lot of brain energy, then you'll have that energy from having that meal at lunch and maybe having that breakfast before you actually go into work. So a lot of people might think about fasting, but here's the key. That only works if you're in the proper state physically to sustain that. And you have to have enough fuel in your body in order to sustain that. So 3 meals a day is really good, a really good starting point. Now, what do? If you're really busy and you have a lot going on, just have smaller meals at those 3 meals per day. And a meal, I could be talking about actually having some source of protein, fat, carbohydrates, some vegetables or whatnot, or just simply having some type of snack. And that can be a yogurt with some nuts and some berries. That can be a shake with some fruit or some nuts on the side. It can be something like a protein bar with a banana, or a protein bar with something else. It can be just a small little snack that you have in 1 to 2 of those spots, and then you have a bigger meal. So as long as you're getting in the habit of having that, then it establishes that rhythm, and then you can just build up over time. So the key here is just that consistency is going to be more important than perfecting that meal ratio, how much you should be eating in those days, how much you should be eating at those specific times. That's going to be way more important of the consistency there. And the more you do it, the more you'll find that you'll have more energy throughout your days, and you'll recover and bounce back a lot faster from your workout. So if you follow those simple tips above, your recovery will dramatically improve, and also your performance. And if you want a couple of complete guides that go deeper into everything that I just mentioned above, the links will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.